Hello, welcome to Shad Life. Well, the funny thing about living in Minnesota is like when spring comes, you're always like hoping for an early spring. And this year, it certainly seemed like we were gonna get it. And then, like, this crap. Hopefully it would only last a few days, but we don't know. Now we got the wind blowing from the north. It's gonna get really cold and miserable here for a few days. Thankfully, I'm going to Bentonville this coming weekend. Hi, Murphy. Hi. And this little guy hates this kind of weather. He does. He likes the summertime. Okay, so I have some updates for you. The first one is a pretty big announcement, and I'm just gonna get right into it. There's no reason to make you watch my whole video just to get to the big announcement. But I need some coffee first for this one. So yes, I decided to sell my property up in Cuyuna. And I know it's a big decision. It might disappoint some of you because I know some of you that follow my channel follow it because I'm up in Cuyuna all the time. But I will still ride up there quite a bit. I just want to sell my property, and I have some reasons for it. I know last year I did a walkthrough of a manufactured home that I was going to put on my property. Then some problems started happening with my mom. She passed away and just kind of delayed that process. And I'm kind of glad it did because it gave me some time to really think and process whether I want to stay up there or not. And I decided that I want to sell it. And the biggest reason why I want to sell it is because I feel too obligated to go up there all the time, kind of tied to that place, and I go to Cuyuna way more than I really want to, and I'm usually up there by myself, not being very social, things like that. So I just decided it's better that I kind of free myself of that obligation, and it allows me more freedom to do other things and go other places, especially riding my bike, because I want to ride at a much wider variety of places. Here in the Twin Cities Metro, if you've been following my updates, I'm on the MORC board, Minnesota Off-Road Cyclist, now again, and we have like 17 trails just in the Twin Cities Metro, and some of them are really good. And a lot of them are just good, solid, single track trails. And we've got Monarch now with like super good flow trails and drops and jumps and things like that. So I want to ride more locally, and then I want to ride more at some of the other regional trails. We've got Duluth, we've got the North Shore of Lake Superior. There's Tioga, there's Redhead. And then in Wisconsin, there's the Cable Hayward area. Just tons of really good riding just in the region. And I also want to travel a little further distances more often. I will be going to Bentonville twice this year. So I will be there for the mountain bike festival, and I'll be going down there in a few days here. So just really freeing myself up to do a lot more variety of things, if that makes sense. So I'm really happy about this decision, and the money that I get, I can invest in something else. Not sure what that will be yet, but I will definitely invest it in something else. Another news is my airbag. We decided that I'll take that over to my friend Tony's, which is, he's in Wisconsin, about 85 miles, actually closer to me than Cuyuna is, and he's also got trails up there by his property, and we're gonna bring it there because he's got some good downhill runs, so we can get up the speed to actually utilize it because it's pretty big. And then I'll have people to ride with, and stuff like that. So my airbag will be around. I'll actually get some good footage of that this year. I didn't get any last year, and so on. So super happy about this. A lot more varied content and so on and so forth. So yeah, and I'll still go ride Cuyuna and so on, but I'll also be around a lot of other trails. I might even make some announcements of where I'm gonna go so people can meet up with me there and things like that, and kind of change things up a little bit. So there you have it. Pretty big announcement, pretty big change in direction for me, but one I'm really happy about. Glad I made this decision. I did order new tires for my Surly low side, and as you can see, they're on here already, right? One thing that I'm really impressed with, because I've been doing tubeless for quite a while, is there's still like air holding in here. I just took out the old tires, put new tires on, and I had to retape this rim. These wheels are the first wheels I ever set up tubeless. This was the first bike I went tubeless with. This, and I had a Heller Berghest. That was another one I set up. So I think both of these bikes were right about the same time. And when I was peeling the old tire off, the tire bead caught the tape and peeled the tape back. So I had to retape one of the rims, and I retaped it, put the tire on, all of that stuff. I have a trick where I put a tube in there. After I tape the rim, I put the tire in a tube on, and I inflate the tube and let it sit for a while, and that helps press the tape all around in the rim. It works really well for me, so that's kind of my strategy when I tape a rim. And then I, obviously take the tube out, put sealant in, and then put the new valve in, and then put it back together. So I'm excited to ride these. So what I did is I put a Hans Dampf on the rear. So I have this kind of tread pattern, more for like climbing and acceleration traction. And then I put, what was this one? The Knobby Nick, yeah, on the front. And if I remember right, Knobby Nick is what I have on my, is it? I think these are Knobby Nicks. Yeah, these are Knobby Nicks over here on my, the lighting kind of sucks over here. On my Esker Jaffe, trying to keep this all together. But yeah, I like Knobby Nicks. They work really good, but I'm very curious to know how they're gonna work on a plus size, because these are 27.5 by 2.8. Sometimes wonder, like if you saw my crash when I had that crosswind, I wonder if I had these tires on, if I would have been able to recover easily and not had that crash. Because I feel like my front tire just grooved in and took away. Although, these might have made it worse because they're more grippy. I don't know. Who knows, right? But there you go. Surly low side, looking good. It's ready to shred in its single speed form with its new fork. Super excited to try this bike out this summer and shred on it in this configuration. The one ride I did get out at the XL Energy Mountain Bike Park was a blast, and I'll just link that video right up there in the corner so you can go watch that. Such a fun bike. Speaking of Knobby Nicks, I ordered a set for these wheels that are from my Spectral 125, and I'm waiting for the higher engagement parts, and I will show you how those install. Even though I did a video and you pretty much know how to install them, I'll show you about how to grease and make sure it's all running correctly and stuff. So we got that to come. But yeah, these will go down to Bentonville with me. I'll have Knobby Nick tires on here. I will have my favorite valves right there. These are the, what do they call them? Fillmore tubeless valves. These are by Reserve. I love these valves. The more I've had them, the easier. They're so easy to work with. They don't clog, high flow, they don't lie. I think these are the best tubeless valves on the market right now. So here's the Swamp Master. It's been sitting all winter, not getting any attention. I actually wanted to get a quick release seat post clamp for this bike, and I was kind of bummed because the frame has a built-in seat clamp. I really wish bike companies wouldn't do that. I wish they would just allow people to put whatever seat clamp they want, because then you can go quick release, you can change to different colors, a little more customizability. I don't know why companies do this, and then you don't have any options. So kind of a bummer there. So I'll just have to have a tool with me. As you can see, the seat's higher, and I got the S&M Long Johnson post in there because I want to be able to cruise around a little bit on this bike to get places. And one thing I really want to do, because I changed the gearing, I did a whole video on that, so it's now a 25/9 instead of a 28/9, so it's a bit more of a, you know, quicker accelerating bike. I put the Lido tubes in there, as you can see by the orange valves, to lighten it up a little bit. I want to take this bike on the single track because I rode a BMX bike on a single track before, and it's no fun. Super bumpy. You usually have high tire pressure. You don't have a lot of volume in your tires and stuff on a BMX bike, and so on and so forth. But these are 2.6 tires, pretty decent knobbies, and of course I have suspension. I'm just curious to see how this bike will ride on mountain bike trails, just some single track. It's very similar to riding a single speed, but in a smaller form, right? It'll be kind of fun to experiment with that, and I might hate it. I might absolutely hate it, but it'll be kind of cool to try it out and see. I did the Homey Fall Fest last year, and it actually rode pretty good on a lot of those trails. The biggest problem was it was geared way too hard, so it made those trails a struggle to ride, and I had to like push the bike up stuff that I felt like I could normally climb up, and I was really sore the next day because I was pushing this bike so hard. So that was why I changed the gearing. So I'm really hoping that this will ride single track a bit better, and it's just kind of a general mess around, shred around bike. I don't even consider this a very serious bike. It's just kind of like just a goofy concept. But yeah, this summer we'll see what more I can do with it. And lastly, I have the Spectral sitting here. I actually ordered new handlebars and stem for this. I'll have 35mm clamp aluminum handlebars on here. I went with Deity, so I'll have a Deity stem, Deity bars. I'm gonna go with a 30mm rise. I'm really hoping adding a little more rise will allow me to pull the front end up easier. I have it here kind of in my makeshift manual setup, and it's pretty hard to pull up the front end. So I'm hoping what I generally do is go with a little higher rise bar, and then I angle them back, you know, and align them with the fork and things like that, and get it kind of almost like how I do BMX bikes. So looking forward to putting those bars on and getting this bike down to Bentonville. And as I've said a number of times, I have the bird spoke wheels on here now, and I will have those wheels with me so I can switch them out. I'll just make sure I have the tool to change the center lock discs, and then I'll need to have my cassette tools with me, because then I can just switch those out. But at least I won't have to switch tires out, and then I'll have tires on those rims that I know I like, those Schwalbe knobby Nick tires. So yeah, really excited about this bike this year. Speaking of that, I bet you people are wondering about the Rustler. So I know I said I was going to finish with this, but let me talk about the Rustler for a second. So here's my Rustler. It's still around. So now I have the Spectral 125 and the Rustler. I will be doing a comparison between these two bikes. So my plan will be to take them both to a trail and switch back and forth and talk about the differences. So This has 27.5 wheels, 150 millimeter travel up front, 130 rear, and this one has 29-inch wheels, 140 front, 125 rear. So they should feel pretty comparable, because generally when you go up to 29-inch wheels, you can go down in suspension travel because the wheels kind of make up for it. So yeah, I'm very curious to know the differences between the two bikes. This one has a bit steeper head angle and a bit shorter reach, so that in itself will make it feel different. This one, longer reach, more slack head angle, things like that. So I can do some good comparison stuff. I've done some recent maintenance to this last year. If you've been following my channel, you know I redid all the suspension pivots, or I had them done. I didn't do them myself, through Angry Catfish, which I love that bike shop. And then this spring, like about a month ago, I went to Behind Bars. A friend of mine, Chuck, owns that, and had him rebuild the rear shock, because they haven't been rebuilt since I bought the bike. And we couldn't get the rebuild kit for the pike fork, but he at least did just a normal maintenance to it and cleaning and so on. So I will order a rebuild kit when they're available and get that taken care of. But this bike is really close to ready to go. There's a couple things I got to do to it yet. One, I want to replace this tire because the Recon just isn't doing it for me. Want something a little better grip on the back. I love the Mazda on the front, Vittoria Mazda, great tire, probably my favorite tire right now. I do like, the Maxxis Minion varieties of tires, and as I mentioned, the Schwalbe knobby nicks are really good, but this is right up there, like probably is some of the best tires out on the market right now. Another maintenance thing I need to do is this brake lever almost goes to the grip. So these brakes are my first time installing hydraulic brakes and actually doing hydraulic work. Before that was a couple of years ago. I used to always have a shop do it. I'll do a video on this and the maintenance that I do on these, where I have to bleed it, replace the fluid, things like that. And I'll do both the front and rear. Front feels good, but it's been a couple of years, so it's time to replace the fluid. If you ride your bike all the time, you want to do it more often than that. But because I have so many different bikes, I don't really ride one bike all the time. So they don't get as much use as they typically would if this was my only bike or only had a couple of bikes. So that's why you don't see me do maintenance as regularly as somebody normally should. But if you have a full suspension bike and it's your primary bike and you're riding it all the time, you definitely need to get the services done much more regularly and brake fluid at least once a year. So yeah, there you have it. So there's all my updates. Got a lot going on. Yeah, we're in the middle of a snowstorm, but spring is just around the corner. Excited to get the season started. One thing I want to mention before I end this video, I don't know why I'm going to start promoting hitting the subscribe button more often. The amount of views and watch time and all of that, I get all the analytics, is really high. So that shows me that people are interested in my videos, but people aren't hitting the subscribe button. So now I think I understand why YouTubers are always like, go hit that subscribe button, go hit it down there, it's just down there. And so I'll start doing that more often, and it does work. So if you do like my content, if you're watching my videos, please hit that button, because it really helps me out, and it'll also put my videos in your feed more often, so you know when I'm releasing new videos. Appreciate your support for my channel. Peace. I was gonna say like and subscribe, but I just told you to do that.